Hi everyone, it's Miss Brenner. I hope you're all doing well and staying happy and healthy. This is a refresher video on figurative language. I'm assuming at this point throughout high school you've probably learned the different forms of figurative language, but it may have been a little while since you've talked about them in a literature course. So we are going to be going back over some of the different forms of figurative language in this video and a part 2 video. So I will try and make it as quick and snappy as possible. We're going to start off with talking about what is figurative language. So figurative language occurs when an author uses a word or phrase that does not have its normal, everyday, literal meaning. So when we use figurative language, the writer can use figurative language to make their work more interesting or more dramatic than literal language, which simply states facts. So we're going to start off with our first form, which is similes. A simile occurs when two unrelated things are directly compared using like or as to bridge the connection. And in the Google Doc that you can use to do split screen, we're going to write down the definition, or you can write it in your own words, and we're going to write down an example. I have 3 examples to provide. So first off, the sports car purred like a kitten as it waited at the starting line. So it's comparing two things and using like or as. We are stuck together like paper to glue. I watched as the snow fell like powdered sugar. So those are just a couple examples of a simile, and if you could write down one or come up with your own. The next form of figurative language that we're going to be talking about is metaphor. So a metaphor occurs when two unrelated things are directly compared by saying one thing is the other. So this does not use like or as. It compares like a simile, but it's different because it's saying that it is and not using like or as. So here are a couple examples. The alligator's teeth are white daggers. The tears were a river flowing down her face. The snow is a white blanket. So we should write down an example in our notes or come up with your own. The next example is personification. Personification occurs when a non-human thing is described as having human behaviors or traits. So a few examples of this would be the trees danced in the wind, the apple pie called to me, the branch tapped on my window. Obviously, trees can't actually dance, apple pies can't actually talk to us, and branches can't actually reach out and tap on things like a person would. We are giving them human characteristics to help the reader better understand what's happening. The next form of figurative language that we're going to talk about is assonance. Assonance occurs when the same vowel sound, so A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, sound is in 2 or more words close together. So, depending upon the word, obviously in English language, sometimes double vowels have a different sound than a singular vowel, so we always take that into consideration, but we're looking for words that have a similar vowel sound next to each other or within close proximity. So, for example, do not go gentle into that good night. There are a lot of O's and O sounds that are being stretched in that short space. So this would be an example of assonance. Try to light the fire is a bunch of I-like sounds. Even though I know the Y there is technically a Y, it sounds more like an I, therefore it's assonance. We also have an example where all of the vowel sounds are at the beginning. Alligators ate apples all afternoon. So these are just a few examples of assonance, which is vowel sounds. Then alliteration occurs when the same beginning sound is in 2 or more words close together, typically consonants, but not necessarily. So, for example, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a bunch of R sounds in close proximity. What a Wonderful World, the W, all in close proximity. And then we can bring back the alligators ate apples all afternoon. Even though it is vowels, it would still work out that it's the same sound at the beginning of a word. Alrighty guys, So those are the quick rundown of a few different forms of figurative language. I will come back with the part 2 video that goes over other figurative language examples. Alrighty guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.